The wedding day had finally come, and Mark couldn't believe it. He was getting married to Lily, the girl he had loved for years. The house was full of relatives, laughter, and decorations. Flowers were everywhere, and everyone was happy. It felt like a dream. Lily looked beautiful in her red dress, smiling shyly as she walked towards him. Mark held her hand, feeling nervous but excited. The ceremony went well, and everyone cheered as they were pronounced husband and wife. After the ceremony, they went to the room prepared for them. It was decorated with soft lights and flowers. Mark and Lily sat together, talking and laughing softly. It was perfect. They talked about their future, their dreams, everything seemed happy. Then, Mark went to get some water, and when he came back, Lily was gone. The door was slightly open, the window unlocked. His heart stopped. He called her name, but there was no reply. Panic started to grow inside him. Where could she be? He searched the house, calling her again and again. No one had seen her leave. Relatives started noticing and asking questions. Fear and confusion spread quickly. Something was wrong, very wrong. Mark ran outside, looking around the garden, the streets nearby. Nothing. It was as if Lily had disappeared into thin air. His mind raced, thinking about all the possibilities. Could someone have taken her? Did she run away? But why? Everything seemed fine last night. Finally, in desperation, Mark went to the police. He explained everything, shaking and scared. He filed a report, hoping someone would find her quickly. But he had no idea how complicated this case would become. Secrets, lies, and betrayals were about to come to light, and nothing would ever be the same again. Detective James listened carefully as Mark explained everything. Lily had simply vanished, leaving no trace. James asked questions, trying to stay calm, but he could sense the panic in Mark's voice. "When did you last see her?" he asked. Mark described the wedding, the laughter, the talk about the future, and finally, how she disappeared from the room just moments ago. James took notes and promised to start the investigation immediately. He checked the house, the doors, the windows. Nothing seemed forced. Whoever took Lily had done it quietly, like a ghost. James knew that the first hours were the most important. Every clue, no matter how small, could be crucial. Back at the house, relatives whispered among themselves. Some thought Lily had left on her own, upset about something, but Mark knew her well. She wouldn't leave without saying anything. His stomach tightened as the thought of danger became real. The police began questioning the wedding staff. A few of them mentioned seeing a car parked near the house late at night, but no one could confirm if Lily had entered it. CCTV cameras around the neighborhood didn't show anything clear. It was frustrating. Every lead seemed to disappear into nothing. Mark started remembering small details. A phone call Lily had received the day before the wedding. A visitor who came, supposedly to deliver flowers, but Mark couldn't remember their face clearly. Every memory suddenly felt important. Could someone close to them be involved? Detective James noted everything and promised to search the surrounding areas. "Don't worry, we'll find her," he said, though his own mind was full of questions. The calm wedding morning had now turned into a nightmare, and Mark felt the weight of fear pressing down on him like never before. Mark couldn't sleep that night. His mind kept going over every moment of the day, searching for anything unusual. He kept thinking about the phone call Lily received yesterday. Who could it have been? He remembered a man at the wedding, supposedly delivering flowers, who had lingered longer than necessary. Why had he looked at Lily in that strange way? Detective James returned the next morning with more officers. They searched the neighborhood, questioned neighbors, and looked for any unusual vehicles or people. One neighbor mentioned seeing a black car parked near the house late at night, but couldn't confirm anything else. Every lead seemed vague, almost useless. Mark decided to check Lily's phone. He went through her messages carefully, hoping to find a clue. There were a few unknown numbers that called the day before. One of them left a strange voicemail, but he couldn't understand it fully. He saved the number and gave it to the police. Meanwhile, gossip began spreading. Some family members whispered that Lily might have left voluntarily, but Mark knew better. He loved her, and he knew she loved him. There had been no argument, no sign of unhappiness. It didn't make sense. Hours passed, and the tension in the house grew unbearable. Detective James called Mark and asked him to stay calm, promising that they would follow every lead. James himself started feeling uneasy. There was something strange about this case. The more he investigated, the more he realized that someone close to Mark and Lily might be involved. Mark remembered Lily's best friend, Sarah. She had seemed nervous yesterday, avoiding certain topics and smiling in a way that didn't seem natural. Could she know something? Mark decided he would talk to her, hoping for answers, while the police continued their investigation. The feeling of dread grew stronger with every passing moment. The next day, Mark met Sarah at a quiet cafe nearby. She looked shocked to hear about Lily's disappearance. Her hands shook slightly as she spoke. "I don't know where she is, Mark. I swear I don't." But Mark noticed small inconsistencies in her words. Her eyes darted around nervously, and she avoided looking directly at him. "Sarah, please. I need to know if you saw anything," Mark pleaded. "Anything at all, even the smallest thing." Sarah hesitated, then whispered, "There was a car. I think someone followed Lily yesterday. I didn't want to tell anyone. I was scared." Mark's heart raced. Someone had been watching Lily before she disappeared. But who? And why? He wrote down everything Sarah said and gave it to Detective James. This clue might finally break the case open. The police traced the phone number from the strange voicemail Lily had received. It led them to a small rental apartment on the other side of town. When they arrived, they found it empty, except for some personal belongings that clearly belonged to Lily. It was clear she had been taken, but the question of who and why remained unanswered. Mark felt hopeless. He sat in the car outside the apartment, trying to hold back tears. Detective James put a hand on his shoulder. "We're getting closer. We'll find her." Mark nodded, but deep down he feared that the person responsible was someone they never expected. Meanwhile, back at the wedding house, other family members began revealing small secrets. Arguments, old grudges, and jealousy surfaced. Every revelation made the mystery more tangled, and Mark realized that the people he trusted most might have been hiding crucial information all along. Detective James decided to review all security cameras from the wedding day. Hours of footage showed nothing unusual, except for one moment. A figure in dark clothes had lingered near the house just after midnight. Their face was hidden, but the movement seemed deliberate. They appeared again outside the room where Lily was last seen, then vanished into the night. Mark recognized the posture, the walk. His stomach turned. Could it be? He shared his thoughts with James, who agreed to investigate further. They started cross-checking wedding guests, staff, and delivery personnel. The black car from the neighbor's report was still a critical lead. In the meantime, Sarah confessed another detail. "I saw my cousin, Emily, near Lily's room late at night. I didn't know why she was there. I thought she was just checking something, but now I'm not sure." Mark froze. Emily, his cousin. Someone he had trusted. James focused on Emily. A background check revealed that she had a history of jealousy and obsession. She had envied Lily for years, believing that Mark's attention should have been hers. The police began tracking her phone, her movements, and her contacts. Mark felt a mixture of fear and disbelief. How could someone so close betray them? The pieces of the puzzle were finally coming together, but the truth was darker than he imagined. Emily had planned this carefully, ensuring no one would suspect her. Every step, every lie, every move had been calculated. Hours later, James received a tip. Emily had rented an old farmhouse outside town. It was isolated, surrounded by trees, and far from any main road. They prepared a team to go there immediately, hoping to rescue Lily before it was too late. Mark's heart pounded as he climbed into the car, ready to face the nightmare. The farmhouse was dark and quiet when the police arrived. The officers surrounded the building, moving carefully to avoid alerting anyone inside. Detective James signaled the team to split and search from different angles. Mark stayed behind, pacing nervously, his mind running through every possible outcome. Suddenly, a faint cry came from inside. Mark's heart leapt. "Lily!" he shouted. The officers followed the sound, and soon they found a locked room at the back. James broke the door open, and there she was, Lily, sitting on the floor, scared and weak but alive. Mark ran to her, holding her tightly. Tears streamed down both their faces. "I'm here, I've got you," he whispered. Lily clung to him, shivering. I thought I'd never see you again," she said. Mark reassured her, vowing that nothing would separate them again. Meanwhile, the officers found Emily hiding in another room. She tried to resist but was quickly restrained. In her confession, she revealed everything: her jealousy, her obsession, and how she had orchestrated the plan to kidnap Lily. The police arrested her, and she was taken away. Mark and Lily returned home, exhausted but relieved. The nightmare was over, but the experience had changed them. They realized how fragile trust could be and how important it was to stay united against any danger. Their love had survived a test more terrifying than anything they had imagined. In the days that followed, Mark and Lily began to heal. They spent time with each other, appreciating every moment. Though scars remained, they were stronger, wiser, and more connected than ever. The wedding that had started as a dream had turned into a nightmare, but in the end, love had won. Life slowly returned to normal, but Mark remained cautious. He had learned that betrayal could come from the people you least expect. Family gatherings, conversations, and even casual moments felt different now. He cherished Lily even more, knowing how easily life could change. Detective James continued the investigation to ensure no loose ends remained. Emily's arrest was just the beginning. The police confirmed that she had no accomplices, but her obsession had almost ruined a life. Mark was grateful for the detectives' diligence, realizing that their combined efforts had saved Lily. Mark and Lily decided to move to a new house, away from the memories of the wedding night. They planned to start fresh, slowly rebuilding trust and peace around them. Each morning, each meal, each quiet moment became precious, a reminder of survival and love. Months later, they celebrated their first anniversary quietly, just the two of them. The past was behind them, but it had left a lesson. Life was unpredictable, people could be deceptive, but love and faith could overcome the darkest of challenges. Mark held Lily's hand, looking into her eyes. "We made it through," he said softly. Lily smiled, tears in her eyes. "Yes, we did. And nothing can take that away from us." They embraced, stronger than ever, knowing that together, they could face anything the world threw at them. After the terrifying night, Mark and Lily tried to return to their routine, but nothing felt the same. Every sound made Lily anxious, and Mark couldn't sleep properly. They kept looking over their shoulders, afraid someone might try to hurt them again. Even friends and family were nervous, whispering about the incident. Detective James visited frequently, updating them about the investigation. Emily had confessed, but the police were checking for any hidden plans or accomplices. The farmhouse had no other traces, but her obsession had been deep-rooted. James reminded them to stay cautious, as sometimes people try to seek revenge even after being caught. Mark decided to take small steps. He started by spending quiet mornings with Lily, making sure she felt safe and loved. He cooked breakfast, helped her with small tasks, and just stayed close. Lily slowly began to smile again, though sometimes tears would fall when she remembered the fear of that night. They began talking openly about what happened, sharing their thoughts and emotions. Mark admitted how helpless he felt when she disappeared, and Lily shared her fear and loneliness. Talking openly made them stronger. Every shared memory of the night was painful, but it also reminded them how precious their love was. Their friends and family supported them. Sarah and a few others apologized for hiding small details before, saying they were afraid. Mark forgave them, realizing fear can make people act strangely. Slowly, trust started to rebuild around them. The couple realized they weren't alone, and that gave them courage. Evenings became their favorite time. They would sit together, holding hands, watching the sunset. Life had changed, but their bond had grown stronger. Mark often whispered, "We survived, Lily. Nothing can break us now." And she would smile, knowing it was true. Months passed, and Mark and Lily moved to a new house in a quieter neighborhood. The memories of the wedding and the kidnapping still lingered, but the couple tried to focus on their future. They decorated their new home with flowers, small lights, and warm colors to make it feel safe and welcoming. Detective James checked in occasionally, making sure they were fine. Emily was behind bars, and the authorities had confirmed she had acted alone. Mark and Lily finally felt a sense of closure, though they knew life could be unpredictable. Every day became an opportunity to be grateful for being alive and together. Mark started working from home more often, spending time with Lily. They laughed, cooked together, and talked about small dreams, like going on trips, planting a garden, or having a quiet dinner by themselves. The little things became significant, reminding them of how precious life was. Sometimes, Lily would remember the night she was taken, shivering slightly. Mark would hold her, calming her fears. "I am here. Nothing will happen to you again," he would say. Slowly, those memories became less frightening, replaced with hope and safety. Friends and neighbors noticed the change. The couple seemed stronger, more connected, and happier. Their story had spread quietly in the community, serving as a reminder of both danger and resilience. People admired how they faced trauma and still chose to trust and love each other. Every anniversary, Mark and Lily would sit quietly, remembering what they had survived. They realized that love could overcome fear, betrayal, and danger. They had faced the worst, but together, they had won. And that made every moment after even more beautiful. One evening, while unpacking some old wedding photos, Lily found a small note tucked inside the album. It was from Emily, written before her capture. The note expressed jealousy and obsession, confessing her envy of Lily and Mark's happiness. Lily felt a chill but also relief. Everything was finally clear. Mark took the note, reading it carefully. They both realized how close they had come to losing everything. But instead of fear, the note strengthened their bond. It reminded them that the world could be dangerous, but their love and trust were stronger than any threat. They shared the story with close friends, not to frighten them but to warn them about the dangers of jealousy and obsession. Sarah apologized again, promising to be honest and vigilant. Mark forgave her, knowing fear can cloud judgment. The small circle of trust around them became stronger, uniting everyone who mattered. The couple also started documenting their experiences. They wanted to remember the lessons they had learned: never take life or love for granted, trust wisely, and value every moment together. Each memory, though painful, became a tool to protect themselves and others. Slowly, life became ordinary again. Grocery trips, small walks, and quiet dinners replaced anxiety and fear. Lily smiled more freely, and Mark laughed without hesitation. Their love, tested by trauma, had become unbreakable. Every night, before sleeping, Mark whispered, "No matter what happens, we'll survive together." Lily held his hand tightly, knowing it was true. And for the first time in months, she felt completely safe. Years later, they celebrated their third anniversary quietly at home. Their friends and family had moved on, but Mark and Lily still remembered that terrifying night vividly. They often talked about how life had changed them, how fear had turned into courage, and how love had turned into a shield against darkness. Detective James visited to congratulate them on their resilience. He reminded them that their experience was unusual, and not everyone survived such trauma. Mark and Lily thanked him, acknowledging that his guidance and dedication had saved Lily's life. The couple decided to start a small foundation for victims of abductions and harassment, sharing their story to help others. They wanted people to understand that even in the darkest times, hope and action could make a difference. Their tragedy became a story of awareness, resilience, and strength. Mark and Lily continued their life together, cherishing each moment. They traveled, laughed, and loved freely, knowing the value of every second. Memories of fear remained, but they no longer controlled them. Instead, they reminded the couple how strong and connected they had become. On a quiet evening, watching the sunset together, Lily rested her head on Mark's shoulder. "We survived everything," she said softly. Mark kissed her forehead. "And we will survive anything, as long as we're together." The nightmare of the wedding day had passed. Betrayal and fear had been faced and conquered. And in the end, love, trust, and courage had prevailed.